Hey everybody, welcome back to Marketing Minute with Ronald Couming. Today we're going to talk about 10 tips, 10 SEO tips that you need for 2021 to increase your success. Every year, Google changes their algorithms, and for me individually, I like when they change their algorithms because they're changing their algorithms to kind of even the playing field, because sometimes people figure out what the algorithms are or how to best utilize them, and they manipulate them and to distort them. So when people like me and you, I assume and hope, we come along and we do the right thing, when Google does those penalties and it's kind of like a slap to them, or it is a new requirement of certain things, or certain things are given more credit than before, it actually helps people like us that are doing legitimate stuff, and it penalizes the people who are doing scammy and spammy stuff. So I want to give you 10 tips to increase your SEO success in 2021, but I want to break them up individually. So today I'm going to give you tip 3, and tip 3 is brand SERP optimization, knowledge graphs, and entities. So SERP is search engine result pages. So it's basically when you're on where you show up. When somebody does a Google search for a product, service, or a solution, where do you show up on that page? That is your SERP. And you might be, if you're, let's say you check and you're 71, that means you're on page 7, first spot, right? So you really want to be within the top 10, but ultimately you want to be in the top 3, because the top 3 get 67% of all the action. And I'm talking about organic SEO here. So what I want to talk about today is the reality that entity-based search starts with Google's confident understanding of who you are, what you offer, and what audience you serve will gain enormous traction for you. And savvy marketers will truly start to get that, and they will start looking at their brands as an entity and start to work in earnest, so that Google will understand who you are and who you serve and how you serve them. So there's several different things you need to know about this. And I've written a pretty long description, and I'm going to read a little bit from it, and then I'm going to ad lib a bit as well. But please go back and read the description. It's totally free, right? So part of the trio of creating and improving the presence on the knowledge graph. Well, Google, we all know, has access to a ton of information. It's, sometimes we joke and say Google knows everything, right? So they know about your search history, whatever you've searched for. They have access to your emails, right? Social media and other types of useful information that they have the ability and means to scale and personalize knowledge graphs. So Google has created their own database about who you are, what you do. And that also goes for your companies as well. So when you get that in mind, you can start to utilize and create your presence online in such a way that it will benefit you. And so that's the key of what we're trying to talk about. You want to create and quantify and qualify the relationship between both you and the legitimacy of whatever content that you're creating, right? In addition to the way Google will perceive value from content will be ever more important. And so basically, what does all this mean? And again, please go back and read the description, because it is kind of techy, and I kind of want to skip over some of the real technical stuff unless you can just read it, digest it, and then read it a second time if you need to. But it basically means that you need to optimize your brand's entire digital presence. And that means your YouTube content, your images, and it's not just your website, it's your funnels, it's the Google My Business and all the features on them. So it's about all your own properties and how they interact with each another on the search engines and the SERP. And if they all come together through various snippets, does it all tell a good story about your brand? So search engines are getting smarter by the day, and they have a good understanding of queries to an extent beyond keyword use in such queries. So don't get me wrong, good keyword research is still needed, but it comes secondary to understanding the topics, entities related to the query and the intent behind the query. So Google is now, and I think I did a tip not too long ago about intent searches, right? How Google has now, its AIs are more looking at the intent. What is not just literally what a person is typing, but what is the intent of the user's search? What are they trying to figure out? So you have to really understand that. So don't get me wrong, good keyword research is still needed, but it comes secondary to understanding the topic entities related to the query and the intent behind the query. I read that a second time for you. So one place where there's no keywords at play is in Google Discovery. So basically, I want you to understand that, you know, you really need to start looking at your brand, at your entity as a brand, and you need to start looking at all your online presence. Does it all paint a good picture with you? Is it all consistent? Are all the names, you know, your NAPs, name, address, phone numbers, are they all consistent? So these are just different things that you need to understand, and this is a series of 10. So I encourage you to go to my YouTube channel, it's free, and you know, review the video and the text if you want in the descriptions of video 1, 2, 3, and then all the way through the whole 10. It's vitally important that you really get a good grip on this, because remember, if you're putting on ads or you're putting up Facebook posts, people are scrolling by, right? You need to disrupt them to stop looking, and to start looking at whatever it is you're putting in front of them, right? But when somebody is actually intent search, you know, they're going to Google, they're going to some search engine, and they have intent. They're looking for information on something they want to learn about, know about, buy, solve a problem, whatever the case is. That's where you want to come up in the results for whatever product, service, or solution that you provide. Not your name, not your company's name, because nobody's searching for that. If they know that information, they're just going to type it in and call you if they forgot your phone number, right? So it's super important that if you really want to serve more people and scale your business, you have to utilize the search engines. Just look at all the accounts that have recently been shut down for whatever reason in Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and you know, it's just crazy. So if your entire platform, all your users, you know, say you have 1,000 followers, but they're all on Facebook. What happens if Facebook closes you down because you sent too many messages in Messenger, or something happens, right? You lose access to all those people. So you need to take those people off that platform. You need to offer them some type of benefit or value, some type of a PDF, some type of tips. So now they give you their email address, and from there you now create your own database. So now it's your database sitting in your email account or your text account, right? So I went way off base today because we were only supposed to talk about one subject at a time, but the geek in me comes out. But anyhow, so if there's anything we can help you with, whether it's creating your online presence, fine-tuning it, understanding how the search engines work so you can maximize your content. You always want to create your content for the user, but you can't forget that the search engine decides what users get to see it, right? So you gotta, you know, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? So anyhow, my name is Ron Couming. My company's name is RCS Online Solutions. I'm going to be changing that soon to RCS Online Marketing. So, but you can contact me at Ron, R-O-N, at rcsonlinesolutions.com, and below I have a couple of links where you can set up time to have a consultation with me, totally free, no obligation, and also some free resources. There's some resources available where you can get some step-by-step guides on how to do your on-page SEO, LinkedIn, you know, all the different sites, Instagram, all the different sites. So there's free step-by-step guides right below. Anyhow, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll be back tomorrow with tip 4 in this series and tip 4 in a content marketing series. Bye for now.